There has been a sudden drive to naturalize the resources, the natural resources of some African countries when it comes to the mineral wealth. And it appears Ghana is moving in a similar direction to ensure that indigenous own a significant stake in their mineral resources in the country. But is this a prudent thing to do, looking at the current challenges facing the economy and the argument about whether we have the required capital to drive this agenda? Well, the state agency or the institution that is leading this charge when it comes to government's drive to ensure that Ghanaians own a significant stake in their minerals is the Minerals Commission. What is this move? Why is it going this way? And really, do we have what it takes to take a significant stake in our natural resources or not? Mr. Isaac Tando is the Deputy Chief Executive of the Minerals Commission of Ghana to get some deeper understanding about this policy drive and why are we going this way. Mr. Tando, thank you so much for your time and granting us audience. I know it's been a very hectic week for you. Am I right in making that description?
Yes, George, it's been one of quite an unusual week for the Commission and as a matter of fact for myself.
I mean, this whole argument about nationalizing, this is a government policy, and I know as an implementing agency, you implement policies, and therefore, George, don't ask me questions about policy because you are implementing what government wants you guys to do. But what has been the whole rationale behind this whole indigenization of our mineral wealth based on the policy brief the government has forwarded to you to implement?
So let me make a little bit of clarification. There hasn't been a policy for nationalization.
Okay.
Unlike our neighboring countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, that is not the route. However, there is a drive for indigenization of our mineral resources to make sure Ghanaians benefit from our resources, to make sure our infrastructure benefits from our resources. So what we are saying is we support foreign investment, but some of these agreements cannot be in perpetuity. They cannot be forever. I mean, if you've been given a lease for 30 years and you've worked through the 30 years, it cannot be business as usual. We can't say those neo-colonial type of agreement 30 years should continue. It cannot continue like that. It's about time that we realize some value within the whole chain for Ghanaians.
Then some would argue that who should we blame here, because these agreements were signed by Ghanaians as a counter agent to these agreements. And if I take the Minerals Commission as an institution, and not you, I mean, these agreements were signed with the advice coming from the Commission. So if today we are raising concerns about some of these mineral agreements, I mean, some will say, who do we blame? Or is it fair to then come out and use the expression about crying wolf that you didn't get a better deal?
So I wouldn't say we should blame anybody. I mean, time changes. As at the time some of these agreements were being placed, it was seen as the best for the country. Because back then, not much knowledgeable people in terms of how this extractive industry was going to go was known. And the technology was not also available to Ghanaians. And accessing capital funding was also a big issue for Ghanaians. So as at that time, I mean, I think it was in the interest of the country for some of these agreements to be put in place for the mine to develop. However, fast forward, we've learned, we've groomed people, we've groomed local companies. We have a lot of people who can access capital now from Ghana. So the question is, do we continue? If we had done this in the last 30 years, after 30 years, are we saying we can't do things on our own? Go around the world, Burkina, Mali, Zambia, Tanzania, Ghanaians are running mines. And even in Ghana, the biggest mine in the Goldfields portfolio is being run by my sister Catherine Kuto at Takwa. You go to Achem, Robert was the GM there. You go to Newmont, Charles Bisu is there. All these are Ghanaians. So Ghana's resources, Ghanaian brains, yet all the profit is leaving the country. That is the narrative we want to change.
Mr. Tando, isn't that, in terms of human capital, some have said that Ghanaians are never shortchanged of that one. You go to the World Bank and the chief of staff there is a Ghanaian and all the rest. And therefore, the critical challenge here is about capital and whether the human capital is there, but the financial capital is there. And that's why some are saying that let's tread cautiously about this whole drive of trying to indigenize or let Ghanaians take control and stake. On principle, it's a good thing, but the reality is that it's a quite challenging thing.
Sure, and but I beg to disagree. Like, unlike those days when people couldn't access funding, it's a thing of the past. I mean, now we have groups, we have companies in Ghana. I mean, a typical example, BCM had very good Caterpillar financing for their equipment. Engineers and planners signed a $250 million deal with Caterpillar. Another over $100 million deal with Libre. I mean, our local companies are getting there. Rockshore is purchasing equipment worth hundreds of millions of dollars to work in Ghana. So where lies the argument of capital? In any case, there have been a lot of money is actually leaving the country, and that is a concern. Let me give you a typical example. Last year alone, Goldfields with the 2 mines in Ghana, Takwa and Daman, made over $600 million in profit. How much did it stay in the country? Your guess is good as mine. So we've gotten to that point. I think we would take it case by case and analyze the situation. We are not saying we're going to chase all mining companies away. We're not going to do that. We are going to support them to do their work. Let me tell you, after giving the 30-year lease to Goldfields, government even bettered the situation for them by giving them a development agreement. The development agreement actually gave them kind of a waiver on some of their tax liabilities. There were a whole lot of tariffs that were taken off, especially fuel. So while sometimes people are even crying out for fuel prices and other things, these mines were enjoying some sort of tariffs that were being waived because of the type of agreement we had with them. Now, instead of using the profit to develop the Daman mine, they were rather busy buying mines elsewhere, like Osisco in Canada. They bought another mine in Chile. And they can't tell me it's not a profit from Ghana, because it's difficult moving your money out of Australia. So it's one of the places they can actually get the free will to move money around is from our country. And I'm saying we can't continue on that tangent. Ghanaians deserve better. After 30-year lease, after being given a development agreement, you chose to be treating stockpiles in the last 2 years. It's like taking free cash from Ghana without actually working. And this cannot continue.
See, I mean, I'll be coming to more details on the Goldfields issue, but just to still look at the national discussion as well. The concern about mining firms taking monies out, there are some who are saying that it again boils down to the agreement that you have with them. Other countries have put in place an agreement where a significant portion of their profits is retained in the country. Some of the mining firms, and I started to be educated, knowing where you're coming from, have argued that the current Bank of Ghana regulations and all the rest insist that they still keep a significant portion of their profits in the country. Don't you again say that whilst we blame the mining firms for every typical investor being very, very proactive, or use the word very smart, you blame your laws on the country for the challenge?
So, I mean, it's one thing at a time. And like I said, our aim is not to chase or go after mining firms. We want to support them. We want them to operate. What we are saying is it cannot be in perpetuity. Anytime a lease runs out, I am a salesman for the country. I need to get a better proposition for the people of Ghana. That is all that we are trying to do now. So, yes, you have a 30-year lease. We want to support you, continue. It's an agreement. You've brought investment into the country. You are employing people. But once that runs out, you would have to table something different from what you currently have. And I think that is the course we are trying to chart on.
Still on the bit about the amount of money that gets out of the country. There are some who are saying that a typical investor, he pumps in about $300 million, $400 million into a mine. And I mean, again, I'll say that you appreciate this industry better than I do. Obviously, when they are making the profit, this is based on what they've sunk into the project. There are some who are saying that government is not being fair when the firms are accused of taking a lot out, because when it came to the cash costs and the expenditure, capital expenditure, it was the sole responsibility of that investor that operates that mine.
I think I agree with you to some extent. However, I mean, when this capital investment are made, there are processes and there are laws to guide them recoup this investment before we start talking about income or we start talking about profit. It cannot be left wide open. In as much as you've brought this and we've supported you to get your capital back, at certain point in time, the country would need to start realizing some value from these minerals. And that is what we did not do earlier on. And we need to change the script. So I know you want to move away from this Goldfields issue, but
we'll talk about it.
Yes. Yeah. One of the things the minister said when we met with them was that we cannot do business as usual, and even use the term, the Goggisberg type of agreement, we cannot continue. However, if you have any better proposition, sit down with the Minerals Commission and discuss with them. Once we think it serves Ghana much more better value than what we have, we would consider and table something before the minister for approval. That was not done. So for me, we just went to Canada, PDAC, and the minister told the world we are open for business. We are open for business. As yet, there are new mines coming in, new core, and all these mines, new people. We are working on them to give them their lease to start working. But what we are saying is it cannot be perpetuity. Once that lease is gone, we need to have a conversation and see what Ghanaians can benefit. That is all that, and I'm not sure we are doing the wrong thing.
You've spoken about the Goldfields, and I just want, from the Minerals Commission perspective, when did you officially get notice the request from Goldfields in terms of the extension of lease? There are reports that it was put in way last year. They put in that request. No. They did what they had to do. From your perspective as the commission, when were you made aware that Goldfields had put in that request that we want an extension of this lease? Okay,
so let me backtrack a little bit. So last year, I think, if my memory serves me right, somewhere Q1 or early Q2.
That is 2024?
Yes.
Okay.
Goldfields approached the government through the commission and told government they want to relinquish the diamond mine.
That was documented?
Yes.
It was not a private conversation or a hearsay?
We went ahead and the government gave them no objection letter to engage a local company to try and take it over because we want the mine to be run by Ghanaians. Fast forward, on your website, if my memory serves me right, Joy made a news that was a report of one of the news item put out by Goldfields, I think November 25th, 2024, that Goldfields intend to sell off its smaller mines in Ghana and Peru after acquiring the Osisco mine in Canada. That was, you can go back to, it's
I've seen that story.
And they have also mentioned it to the market, that this is what you want to do. Now, you come in December, so back to your question. They applied for the lease in December for lease extension. So the question is, Are you getting the lease to try and sell the mine as you have communicated?
What was government's response to them when they wrote the letter to you that they wanted to relinquish this mine? What was your response to them?
That was when we gave them the no objection letter to engage a local company to take over the mine.
Were you aware of that engagement that they were having with that local firm?
I'm not aware.
Okay.
Nothing came back to us, so I'm not fully brief on that.
Okay.
But it's the U-turn they made in December, because all of a sudden, gold price is 3,000, and you think you can recoup more money from there. You understand? But you didn't even develop the mine. With the development agreement, your taxes were down, your tariffs were waived. I mean, you just took out money and kept deferring the waste stripping. And that is where they got to where they are now. Our response to them was that you didn't even declare reserve for the mine in your integrated annual report for 2024. There was no mining. Same thing 2023, there was no mining. So you need to have a lease. You need to have a reserve for us to give you a lease. And you don't have reserve. 2, you don't have mining operating plan because you have no intentions of mining. You are just treating the stockpile. And like I said, the stockpile is like just some cash cow because you've already paid for the mining activity years ago. So it's just the rehandling cost and the processing cost that you are taking out. And look at where gold price sits. So we just raking in all the money. So yes, it's because of the type of agreement we have signed. But in our view, they've also breached something because we gave you development agreement to be developing the mine.
What did they breach?
Yes, they didn't develop the mine. There was no reserve. They treated stockpile with development agreement for 2 years. They treated stockpile for 2 years. They didn't have a mining plan, any plans of mining. So what do you need a lease for? So then when the minister said, look, if you have any better proposition, speak to Mineral Commission. And they didn't come. Instead, they resorted to writing letters and telling us that it's within our right for the lease to be renewed. And I give an example to somebody that you give your house to someone to rent 5 years. You've supported the person. Something is wrong, you come in to fix for the person. You even supported the person that the utilities that he pays are lower. And after 5 years, he comes to tell you that it's within my right that the agreement I have with you continue with me.
Mr. Thunder, some will say that what is wrong, and they will say that there's only a fool doesn't change his mind. That when things change, and Goldfields then believe that well, we didn't like this mine, now we like it.
Yeah, so
give us that opportunity. What is wrong with that U-turn?
There is nothing wrong with that U-turn. What is wrong is they are not putting any better proposition on the table. They want business as usual, and that will not happen.
If they should put a better proposition on the table now,
we will look at it. And if it serves the interests of Ghanaians, why not? Because we would be, I don't want to use the word, it would be unfortunate for the next generation to come and point fingers at us that we had the opportunity to do things right and we didn't do it.
If I go back to your stance about the plan to ensure that an indigene manages the firm, some are saying that you've already taken your stance already.
We've not.
Nothing will change whatever that Goldfields does.
We are a listening government. We are a listening commission. And like I said, the minister made it clear that if you have anything, go and discuss with these guys, and then they will table something before me for approval. That never happened. They rather resorted to letter writing and propaganda in the media. We are not interested. What we are interested is the minerals in Ghana benefit the people of Ghana. At the end of the day, we should see some value that these mineral resources is given to us. So we are open to listen to whatever they have. However, it should be something that benefits the people of Ghana.
Mr. Thunder, opening to listen and then accepting their proposals. Some are saying that these are two different
But there
things.
is not even any proposal on the table.
What if they put a proposal on the table right now?
And I said we will look at it.
That addresses all your concerns.
Yes,
the fear is that you've already taken a stand.
We've not taken a stand.
Nothing is going to change.
We've not taken a stand. The good thing is we told them that they have proposition, they should put it forward. And we will look at it. And the whole Ghana will know. In fact, the president wants to leave a legacy. Okay, I want to support the president to leave a legacy. We want to make sure that if we are doing anything, it's for tomorrow's people's benefit, not just doing things for doing sake. So we cannot go about renewing Gogelsberg type of agreement and give you another 20 years when you've not even drilled extensively and even worked extensively to show us that you are interested in the mine.
You made a lot of raised a lot of concern about certain things that you're looking for,
Yeah.
In terms of the plan to do this, that, and all the rest. If all those things are captured in a fresh proposal and it's channeled through the commission,
Yes.
are you going to grant them that extension?
So, I mean, we don't grant permit. We make recommendations to the minister to grant permit. Now, that is why he said, whatever they have, bring it and let's discuss. And then we will show. I mean, people, today, we don't hide in some office and do certain agreements. Now, people are interested in what is happening. So whatever is on the table, if it's good for Ghanaians, Ghanaians will know. And if it's not good for them, Ghanaians will know. So for us, it's about Ghana. It's not about any political party. It's not about any individual. It's not about any local entity. It's about Ghana. Whatever we want to do now, we want to make sure Ghana first.
Goldfields says that they did invest significantly in the mine, and that demonstrated their commitment, a long-term commitment. The argument that they did nothing into the mine, it's not fair, it's not well placed. That at the latter part, there was significant investment in the mine that demonstrated their long-term plan to be here for good or be here for some time.
Okay. So I would urge you to, at your own free time, read the development agreement that was given to them. And there is another video by the former CEO of Nick Holland telling the world we're going to invest 1.4 billion into the Daman assets. Let me tell you what these guys did. They actually did the Daman job with Takwa, the revenue from Takwa. Okay, so they used Takwa as a cash cow to throw in some of these jobs that were supposed to be at Daman. Now, once the reinvestment period was over, I mean, the money that started coming from that side was being used to buy mines elsewhere. But there were a lot of jobs they could have done at Daman to extend the life of Daman for another 8 to 10 years. That did not happen. So, I mean, they can put up a whole lot of argument, but we know what they did. And I am ready to meet anybody one-on-one. And let's talk about this from any perspective. What we are saying, Mr. Yafe, is Ghana deserves better. People of Ghana deserve better. You deserve better. I deserve better. And that is what we are fighting for.
Mr. Tan, when we come back, we're looking at the implications of this action. There are some who are saying that what is going to happen to the workers of Goldfields in this, whatever proposal about Ghanaians owing a significant chunk of this, what will happen to an Ajua Mansa who is an underground engineer and all the rest if they are being forced to shut down this mine? What is going to happen to the workers, the partners, and even other services being rendered by Ghanaians that you are trying to protect? This is PM Express Business Edition, talking about Ghana's plan to ensure that indigenes own significant stake in the mining sector, with the Deputy Chief Executive of the Minerals Commission. About this whole plan, how is government planning to implement this, and especially is focusing on the Goldfields development. This is PM Express Business Edition. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to PM Express Business Edition as we look at government's plan to ensure that Ghanaians own significant stake in the mining sector. How is this plan being implemented and to ensure that there isn't any backlash or ensure that maybe we don't go about doing this thing with all the problems and trying to focus on the Goldfields diamond issue and how government is going about this and the implementing agency, the Minerals Commission, engaging the Deputy Chief Executive of the Minerals Commission, Mr. Tando. Thank you so much. Again, and that's why I tried to ask when the application was made, because we get the impression that it's like a landlord owns this place, he comes in this week, Mr. Tando, get out by Friday. I'm now struggling. How do I even get the books out? How do I even get the lights out? Was Goldfields given that ample time when government said that we are not going to extend this lease agreement? Because now it appears that they have till Friday, and what we are picking up is that they are being hounded out.
So that is the wrong impression. They had the opportunity to apply for renewal of this license long ago. They decided to do it in December because they had no plan for the mine. If they had plans earlier on, 2 years of your lease, 1 year of your lease, you could have still come in to say, this is the work I'm doing and I'll need a bit more time to continue working. They only put in the application in December. So that should tell you they had no plans for the mine. So it's not as if we are chasing them or we are hounding them out. But mind you, Tarkwa is still operating. Tarkwa is the biggest asset in the Goldfields portfolio. Have we said anything about Tarkwa? Have we done anything
Because their
to Tarkwa?
lease are not up. Their lease should be up in
Exactly.
2027.
So that
I stand
is,
to be corrected. Their lease should be up very soon.
so if their lease is not up and they come and put proposal down and wants to extend it, we can have a conversation. So with whatever that happened, I mean, they put in their application December, and already they had already approached the government that they wanted to let the mine go. So we knew they had no plans for the mine. Who knows? In one of our meetings, the minister said he doesn't think if gold price was 1,500, we'll be having this conversation. These people would have been long gone. They would have been long gone because it doesn't make business sense. Now gold price is 3,000. You want a new lease when you've not even declared a reserve for the area. So it's neither here nor there.
It still comes back to my point that can a human face be attached to this whole decision of not renewing?
But I'm not sure.
And again, I stand to be educated. What we've picked up seems to suggest that, yes, of course, back and forth, the lease would not be agreed and get out. And again, so, the impression is that
so if the lease will not
be by Friday, they have to get out. And knowing, again, the industry that you work with, operating a mine, it's not as that easy, even when you want to declare a shutdown of the mines. It's a long process.
So who caused them? No, those are some of the propagandas they are throwing out.
Is that not the reality on the ground?
And who is telling?
I'm just asking because I know where you're coming from.
Yes, I'm also talking
that I'm wrong.
So who is telling them the mine will not run? Who is telling them somebody is going to lose job? And let me tell you, that propaganda out there that 1,700 people are going to lose their job. Goldfields fired these people 2 years ago when they stopped mining.
Where?
Daman.
Okay.
Yes, when they shut down the mining, and there are a whole lot of letters they wrote to all their contractors that they are stopping mining. EMP was written to, DMA was written to, Gaso Fuel was written to, AECI or AEL, the explosive company. I've got all those letters. They wrote to them and fired all these people.
So how was the mine operating?
So they were operating on a mining skeleton that was feeding the plant.
And what is the number as you speak right now, a rough number if you have it fair yet?
If I'm not mistaken, it should be around 300.
Okay.
And we are saying that with what the government is putting in place, it's even going to open up. Because there were some small pits that they didn't finish mining. We want to quickly go in, start mining because there is already a contractor on site that is feeding the plant. If you can mobilize, we can continue, and that would even help government to bring more people on board. I was asked a question, what is the bigger picture for the big cutback? We need about $400 million to do the cutback, which can be staged. Now, all we need to do is to prove to MET or GIF or Bank of Ghana that, look, within the next 6 months, we've been able to put down about 120 million from this mine. We need this to mine out and give the mine another 8 years life, producing between 100 and 120,000 ounces for the next 8 years. Who wouldn't do this? So we have not gotten to that stage, but the mine is a running mine, it's a profitable mine, and there is no way. It's rather, whoever is working there now might even be better. There is no way they are going to be worse off, because we know the market value of what is happening. So nobody is going to be worse off. They may rather be better off under the new administration of the government until we decide what to do with the mine, with a better proposition.
Nando, I get from you that you're already looking beyond a Goldfield for the mine. And again, it brings back to my question about whether even if they should put in a fresh proposal now.
We are not looking...
even have, so it looks like there's already a plan for the mine.
No, there is not.
Away from Goldfields.
Okay, so as a man, or as a human being, or as a government, you should have a plan B at all times. Assuming it doesn't go as them bringing a new proposal or whatsoever. What do? Do you shut their mind down? No. So there is a plan B, that if it doesn't go as planned, what do we do to run the mine and make sure the country is benefiting? Do you get my point? Yeah. So it's not cast in stone. We are still talking. But all that we are doing is we want better value for Ghana. Let's not forget that. That is what we need.
So back on the staff issue thing. Yeah. So do I get the understanding that, again, that these workers are more of contract workers, or is being outsourced? So
they fired everybody. They changed people's contract from permanent to fixed term. Only the senior officials, superintendent, unit managers above are permanent employees of the company. Any other person is 2-year or 3-year fixed term. And once it's up, I mean, it's a way of trying to, I mean, so they fire the people. And whoever put that 1,700 people out there, let the person come and substantiate. Because so I know what I'm talking about.
So I get from you the majority of people who are working on the mine right now are not direct employees of Goldfields.
Some are direct but on fixed term.
Okay.
Some are direct on fixed term. And then they also brought in some agency to manage the labor and give people some fixed term through a third party. All these things are happening. I mean, if they want us to talk to Ghanaians who they are, I am ready to do so. But what I'm saying is we've not closed our mind. We are still available to be engaged. The minister told them, if you have any better proposition, bring it across and let the commission decide to table it if it's okay. Nothing has been seen on my table, and I'm sure this is the same for the CEO.
In terms of the briefs that you have, so as far as you're concerned, and as the situation stands right now, the mathematicians, the economists will say holding all those variables constant. By this Friday, Goldfields, they have to move out of the place.
You don't have a lease. So I know they are doing some work. They're putting all the assets together. A whole lot of assets over there is fully depreciated, so we don't have to pay them anything. But if there is anything in there that has value, then we can talk about it and tell you how we're going to pay them back. But anything that has been fully depreciated belongs to Ghana, because they've go and see the hole in Daman and come and tell me whether their closure liability they've put on paper can resolve that closure. It's about time. I mean, we need to be Ghanaians than being politicians or whatever.
Are you hounding them out?
I'm not hounding them out.
Because the argument is that there are even reports that their security personnel going to get to the place and by Friday driving them out.
No,
these are reports that are out there that military men and all the rest are going over to the place,
I mean,
to physically move them out of the place.
We've seen a few things happen to mines, especially when there is a situation and it's a change of hand. There is a tendency of galamseyers going, there is a tendency of bad people entering and, trying to take whatever. What happened at Boise even recently. So for us, we are safeguarding the assets. The security we are setting there is to mean that, look, we don't want anything to happen to the assets once we go through this transition. So nobody is chasing anybody. We are still friends.
Justification for military men to be on the ground.
Yes, because you want
police
to
officers.
you need. No, you need. When you are talking about, look at our fights with Galamsey and military armed men. So when it comes to gold, it's a different ballgame. You need to take
the asset. It's
exactly.
not meant to physically drive them out.
No.
After Friday, and again, you give the numbers 300.
Yeah.
What happens to those 300 people? What happens to
the
Ajua Mansa who is a contract
in the interim,
what to them?
They would work for the government of Ghana. I've already had a long-standing discussion with Ghana Commercial Bank. We put it in place. If it goes this way, everybody is protected. In all this conversation, all that I've been trying to tell you right from the beginning is the interest of Ghana. So I am not going to do anything there that affects the Ghanaian who is working in there. It's his interest, that's why I'm fighting. So it doesn't make sense to try and get them out and what. So we are putting all sorts of arrangements, and we want to assure the people of Ghana that the people will be well treated and even start the work and increase whatever we are doing and be able to pick more people and benefit Ghana. Let me ask you, if by the end of the month, we've got a couple of gold bars and it's going to Bank of Ghana, how would you feel? This is a time when we mine and we get the gold and it's going to the central bank. It protects our city. Our city will stabilize. As a country, we can now begin to do a lot of infrastructure. Gold, they are telling us, oh, they've done this in Ghana, they've done this in South. Are you telling me we still don't have any school within Daman that is dilapidated? All these things could have been fixed with just somebody committed trying to do stuff. So, look, we mean business and we mean well for the people of Ghana. And that is exactly what we are going to do. So if they table anything better than what the government want to do, why not? We would go
What
back.
have you told the people of Damang? And I stand to educated. I have not been there before, so excuse me for my ignorance. But for a lot of people in Accra here, we've seen some of the corporate social responsibility programs that Goldfields has undertaken. For that person in that area, maybe it's like his lifestyle and benefit depended on these managers of these mines. Now, Friday, they are gone. What has been the communication to the community about this action that government has taken?
We've met with some opinion leaders. We've spoken to people. Trust me, when you go to the ground, a lot of people are happy for this decision. So, because they know it's not about somebody going to go home. They know it's better for Ghana. They know it's better for the community. They know it's better for the people. So, I'm not sure. There is a whole lot of propaganda, like the 1,700 that they threw in there. That was when they were doing the actual mining. So when they stopped mining 2 years ago, where is that number? Everybody's home. We need to do things in a smart way as a country to make sure people benefit from our mineral resources. We are mining over 2 million ounces out of this country every year. How much stays here? Peanuts. So it's about time that we need to look at some of these things and work as Ghanaians, behave as Ghanaians, and get something out of these resources for Ghana. That is all that we are trying to.
When Goldfields leaves Daman on Friday, government is taking over. If I look at the national budget and I look at the communication of government and the position of government, more of an austere budget, trying to rein in an expenditure, who is going to finance this new mine that government is taking? Where is the money going to come from?
So we have a lot of meetings coming up, and some of the pictures will be clearer in the coming days. But what I can assure the people of Ghana is that these guys are treating stockpile. It's not expensive to do that. Anybody can treat stockpile. If we should even continue with the stockpile and mine those smaller pits, we should be able to be self-financing for the rest of the year until we get to the bigger cutback where we need a lot of money to do that. But it will become clearer. It will become clearer. But trust me, the president has the people at heart. When he said resetting the agenda, he meant everything. Making sure that all the things we do as a people benefit Ghanaians and the future generation.
You talked about propaganda, and let me also dig in the rumor mill as well. So when government takes over, is it going to give it to a consortium of investors, or is it going to give it to someone out there? What is the plan in terms of the ownership of this mine? Because there are several rumors out, and I know you heard them all, right?
Yeah, so...
how do you respond to these rumors? And for legal reasons, I'm not going to mention anybody's name. So what do you respond is that government is trying to take this mine and give it to some investors or an individual?
Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, with all the meetings I've sat in to the highest level, government wants to run the mine. I mean, for now, there is nothing on the table for the mine to be given to any individual.
Isn't someone an end beneficiary of all this and the government is doing?
Ghanaian people are the end beneficiaries. That I can assure you.
So those rumors are not well placed
I mean,
there?
They are not well placed, and if they cannot be substantiated, then we shouldn't take them serious.
Would time tell us in the way forward for this particular mine and what government really wants to do with it?
And like I said, in all of this, we want better proposition for Ghanaians. So, I mean, as time goes on and anybody puts a better proposition, why not? Including Goldfields themselves. So, we are open, and like I said, we are open and we are a listening government. But for now, as far as I'm concerned, it's a government ownership we are looking at.
This is PM Express Business Edition as I engage the Deputy Chief Executive of the Minerals Commission as to look at government's plan or proposal to ensure that Ghanaians own a significant stake in the mining industry, and also as looking at development in Goldfields and the whole plan, the strategy, and some who have criticized government already about how they are going about this plan and what could be the implications for the large mining industry. This is PM Express Business Edition. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to PM Express Business Edition as we discuss or look at managing Ghana's natural resources and minerals. What is the best option for us? As in, do we encourage more Ghanaians to own a significant stake, or maybe bring in those investors out there who have the required capital to develop these mines? Engaging the Deputy Chief Executive of the Minerals Commission to get his thoughts, the plan about this. Mr. Tando, we are in a space where government goes out to bid for people to come and place capital in several sectors, not necessarily mining. There are some who are worried about how this thing has been handled and within the investor community as well. How do you respond to that? That it appears that you are dragging Goldfields on the floor, and tomorrow Ghana goes out asking for FDIs and all the rest. The posturing, the way this has been handled, is not looking good for Ghana in our quest to attract foreign direct investment.
Okay, so I disagree. I mean, any smart person or who takes these reports and read them will know that we are rather doing the opposite, especially when there was a clear intentions of the person not wanting the mine, didn't invest, didn't drill, didn't do much. We'll know that the government is right in taking that decision. And I mean, like the biggest portfolio in their assets, which is the Takwa Gold Mine, nobody is touching them. So it's not about Goldfields.
Because you can't touch them. They have an agreement as we speak right now. If Takwa's mine agreement should end today,
it's a different...
Government will go on a similar path, giving them deadline to walk out.
It's not going to be straightforward or a straight line argument like that. I mean, there will be proposition. I'm sure they are already proposing for the joint venture with Anglo, which the government is looking into. So there are things the government is even doing to support them now. You understand? So it's not about Goldfields. Nobody has anything against Goldfields. All we are trying to do is to get value for money. And if You are in a country and certain things don't support the agenda of the development of the country. I mean, you don't continue in the same tangent. If you remember, Supreme Court Judge Sofia Kufu made statement that we need to, she even said we need to review all these.
But nothing stops government from doing that. But
No, but you have
this approach
so it's the same
of the posturing.
So it's the same thing you
some
came
are
back.
saying the high-handedness when it comes to dealing with Goldfields.
No,
the signals are not good.
We need to be serious as a country. We need to be serious as a country. And it's the same thing you said. I mean, we have agreements with sovereign companies here, and we are honoring them. Your lease is gone. Your lease is gone.
But there's always a human face, a human touch to some of these things.
The issue of Goldfields trying to, and some of the letters they've written, I'm sure will pop up. Even the tone to the minister. I mean, we are not going to entertain that. It's as if it's our right for you to renew the lease for us. That is neither here nor there. So it's about time that we stand firm as a country. We support people. We support investment. We are helping people. As we speak, there are new mines coming.
Are they indigenous or they are foreign firms that
foreign
are coming?
firms, new
Does it defeat your own argument about trying to ensure that Ghanaians own a significant stake in the mining sector?
No, they've come to do the investment, do the drilling, and have established the reserve. It is only fair they come and do their job. However, if your list is gone and you can't put any better proposition, that is where we'll have the conversation.
Mr. Tando, what are your lawyers telling you? What is the attorney general telling you? Because, again, the right argument cannot be just whitewash. I mean, the first right of call should be given to that owner of that entity. What has the legal advice to? Because there are some who are worried about the implications of going to the international court arbitration over this action. Okay,
so the law gives room for arbitration. I mean, they have the option to go to arbitration. Our lawyers, the attorney general, everybody is looking into this. I am a mining engineer, and I'm applying the principles of economics, which should benefit Ghana, and that is what we are doing. The lawyers will do their work.
Shouldn't that be being the first thing before this action? Because you don't want this thing to end up in an arbitration.
So don't think
Ghana
that
would lose.
We've not. It's our loss. We've looked at it.
And that first consideration was done before this action was taken.
We think we have a case. So that's why we're going this way.
Are you not worried about it end up in arbitration and all the rest?
I sleep freely. We're doing the best for Ghana.
How is your relationship like with Goldfields? Is it a good relationship?
It
there
is.
are some, again, I won't go into the rumor mill, but there are some who are worried that it's Mr. Tando hasn't got a good working relationship with them, doesn't like them. Let me use that. You don't like them, and therefore you just want them out of the way.
I was one of the best employees for that mine of the company.
You still like them as
I like them. They are a great company.
You don't like them?
No,
that's why you're just doing
I really like them. In fact,
vendetta.
Goldfields developed me more than any other mine I've worked for. I've worked for Anglo, I've worked for Newmont, I've worked for Grupo, Asaco Grupo Mexico, that is South 32 in the US. Goldfields gave me opportunity to grow. I like them. I still have.
So it's not a personal thing.
No, it's about Ghana. And I was telling some of the friends that are still working there that, look, it's not about Goldfields. It's not about, if this situation was with Newmont, the approach would be the same. If this situation was with the Chinese, the approach would be the same. So it's not. I have nothing. In fact, the day we met with the minister, we had a very good convo before the meeting started. I mean, I spoke to Elliot. Is a very good friend. I mean, the acting MD. Yeah. I mean, Catherine is like a sister to me. Mike himself, I know very well. I know everybody sitting up there in Goldfields. They all have my numbers. They can talk to me at any time. Some of them are still texting me even as we speak. But it's not about people. It's not about anything. How can one man... So let me clear this. One person, even if there is something, one person cannot change the mind of government. Is it possible?
No, when you hold a very influential position.
I'm not even the CEO.
Yeah.
I'm not the minister. I'm not the deputy minister. I'm not chief of staff. There are very powerful people within the institution. I'm not even one of them. So how can my views be what the government wants? It's not possible.
Mr. Dondo, do you support personally the push, the argument about reviewing all these mining agreements, and how should it be done for us to get it right?
So I do. By then, we also don't have to do things that amount to, what do we call it? There is a term, like you are trying to push the companies away. No, we have an agreement. We will respect the agreement. We will honor the agreement. However, if it runs out its natural course, we need to have a discussion and have something better. And usually that is what is done almost everywhere. That you start off, you do your job, we have an initial agreement. But once we've seen, you've made money, you've gotten your capital back, you've made some profit, and your agreement runs out, it shouldn't be business as usual. 10% free stake interest after 30 years. Are we serious? Things needs to change.
And you think that is going to be done well, it was going to be done
I am confident in the system. I am confident in the President, His Excellency John Mahama. I am confident in my minister, and I think we will do a good job for Ghanaians. And at the end of the day, we will leave Ghanaians to be the judge.
I mean, this whole, and again, I spoke about the mining agreement that they think it should be reviewed, and even this whole idea about development agreements and all the rest. You think that all those things we should take a second look at all those things?
So, new agreement, I'll say yes. Existing agreement, I'll say let them run their natural course. But the new agreement we need to have. And if you look at it, even the previous government with the lithium, they tried to alter the agreement. The free stake came up. There were certain things that they added into those agreements. So, new agreement with what we know as Ghanaians now, we would have to.
In this drive to ensure that majority of Ghanaians own a significant stake, and even with this Goldfields argument and all the rest, what has been the level of industry engagement? The Ghana Chamber of Mines, the acting CEO, said that they also had that in the news. In terms of the industry engagement, they didn't hear, and there's some sort of apprehension in the industry among mining firms. Do you think that on second thought, there should have been a behind-the-scenes engagement that this is government posturing, this is government plan, this is our stance going forward?
No, so, I mean, we were talking to these guys in the background. Who went to the news first?
It was a lead memo that was sent to the staff.
Exactly.
That found
so,
their way
I mean, I'm talking to you, I'm discussing with you, I'm negotiating with you, and you run to the media. I mean, I need to come and talk.
It was a leaked report.
No.
They just released their press statement yesterday.
Whether it's a leaked report or not, they are members of the chamber. Did they speak to the chamber to come and talk to the minister or talk to the commission? So we've not officially heard anything of them trying to get the chamber to come and support them all. It's just the conversation we had broke down, and then they took a different course. Of course, we need to let Ghanaians know the truth. We need to let the people of Ghana understand what is happening, and we need to also let them know that whatever we are doing is in their interest. We wouldn't rip Ghana off for any foreign company.
Would the chamber be engaged on future
When actions? We get there, I think it's processes.
Because they are also in the dark.
No. So, I mean, Goldfields being a member, in fact, it's Goldfields that is even chairing the chamber. Because Mike Kafia is the one that sits there. So, if they themselves didn't officially, and then they went out, why wouldn't we talk to Ghanaians about what is happening? This whole thing is not about propaganda. This whole thing is not about anybody. This whole thing is about Ghanaians. We want the best for Ghana. If they have a better proposition, they should come and put it on the table and we discuss.
As you try and wrap up on this discussion, again, the whole idea about mining leases and all the rest. There are some who, the back stops with the commission. They blame the commission that our challenges with the mining sector now is because you have not been that prudent in the extension of lease from the huge firms to the small size firms and all the rest. How do you respond to that charge?
There is work to be done. I agree. And that is why the minister said we need to look at the licenses regime, whether small scale, large scale, and try to sanitize the whole system. There is a team that has been put together by the minister, headed by the deputy minister, to even review all small scale mining licenses. So there is some amount of work to be done, and we recognize that. But yes, I mean, we will get better as we go, trust me.
Get better in terms of Galamsey, some would say, what is going to change?
Exactly.
Because some are saying that they feel that it's still going to be business as usual. What is
It's
going to
not
change
going to be
from
business.
the Commission's perspective in trying to deal with this
So
canker?
a lot of work is being done in the background. For instance, yesterday I spent some good amount of time at the Burma camp speaking to the military, the army and the navy on some of the strategies. I mean, the preparations and the logistics that we needed to put in place for these guys to hit, we are almost there in terms of that. Yes, I know people feel it should have been a magic wand. You come, you turn it, and everything is sorted. But it's a big fight. When it comes to money, Galamsey, it's a different conversation. You have insurgents from other states or other countries that are protecting these illegal miners in the forest.
Is that a fact? Is that something the Commission can establish? Or
yes,
is
because
again the rumor mill argument that is the Commission established that there are mercenaries in this space?
You can speak to our counterparts at the Forestry Commission. There were 9 forests that was a no-go area for the Commission. They couldn't. Forestry Commission couldn't go in to do their work. 9. It was coded red. And since we took power, we got 7 back. The 2, Desiri and Asinanyo, are the 2 that the people are still working. But meeting with the tax that is going down there to do the job, with the number, some of the things I don't want to mention, with the number of people, the logistic they have now, trust me, when we get down there.
Do you think it's a security challenge? Some have said that the Galamsey challenge this country has faced is more of a political will than a security problem.
And I think the will, the president has shown the will. I mean, there was one president who gave power to be mine in the forest. Another president comes and says, take that power from me. Which is more, which one is more will than the other? So the president has indicated that he is not behind anybody, and nobody can hide behind party colors. The minister stated that these guys are terrorists. It should tell you the level of activity we are dealing with. So yeah, it's going to be brutal.
Think it's going to change?
It's going to be
timelines, end year?
So I would say, I mean, a problem that has been deepened over so many years, we will need time. But trust me, I believe within the next quarter, we should see significant improvement when these people hit the ground. Political will, the president has given us the go-ahead to deal with this situation, and we will do so.
Stand the next quarter, I'll come back to you. This has been PM Express Business Edition, engaging the Deputy Chief Executive of the Minerals Commission in terms of ownership, regulation, and ensuring that indeed Ghanaians owe a significant stake in the mining sector. What should be the best approach in going about this? This has been PM Express Business Edition, engaging the Deputy Chief Executive of the Minerals Commission. And the debate to go on in your homes and offices about what should be the best approach in going about this plan by government. Have a great day.